Everybody get a seat. Come on, y'all. Super Lily make go back in the kitchen, cause I'm ready to get food and eat. I'm mustard, pick the collard greens and cornbread rice. Chicken breast, oxtails on the side. Got up the vegan Underwood and get my 50 ready, cause ready to get food and eat right. Come on! Dr. West, count the money, come back and tell us what you're ready. We ain't find another day. I got some people there looking for some best. First God, got to give the praise. Come on, y'all. See, there's no saying. When the praises go up, you get some blessing coming down. I got some people in the church, God Almighty, look at them, and mess around. Come on. Hell no. To the no. Yeah, to the no. Hell to the no. To the no. I got people in the church smoking weed, drinking whiskey, they drinking a lot of gin. What you say? I got the preacher with the night prayer meeting, talking about can I get the amen? Come on! Early Sunday morning, about a quarter and a half past 10. Yeah! I got some people, they coming off the street, got a lot. Yeah! They laying at the altar, they confess the sin they're sin. Come on, wait! Time to see them Monday morning, they doing the same thing again. Hypocrite. Hell no. Come on. To the no. Yeah, to the no. Hell to the no. To the no. Listen. Got kids dropping out of school, talking about they don't want to learn. Get to standing on the corner, rolling blunts, talking about come on, let's burn. Y'all better get back to school. I got kids walking up and down the street, playing, singing down on their knees. One more time, talking about that they looking for a job. When I see them get the book, I say, please. See, all they ever talk about, brag about who got the biggest and the baddest guns. Trying to see you come up with a little top. They drop the gun, they wanna run. What you run now? Now the sheriff got them locked up. They sitting in the county jail. Shame. I heard the mama, she was crying all night. She can't get no money for the bill. Come on. Now the man with the home run, cause they didn't put the money in the commissary. Where you go now? They had you in the jail, brother man. You were sure getting from the cemetery. Come on, wait. See, there they go saying that a hard head make a soft eye. Yeah! Well, since you did the crime, don't do the time. Stop the baby cry. Come on. Hell no. To the no. Yeah, to the no. Hell to the no. To the no. Listen. When people talk about you, all you gotta do is let them talk money to me. That's what they gonna do, y'all. Because all you gotta do is get down on your knees. Tell the Lord about it. You tell God about it, and I guarantee He would never leave you alone. Yeah. All you gotta do is tell the devil, hell no, won't you leave me alone? Never leave. Hell no. Come on, Mike. To the no. Come on. Hell to the no. To the no. Come on. Hell no. To the no. To the no. To the no.
Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, Kicking It with the Kenneys every Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. We were live on our platform prior to going live on No Static. So for y'all that seen us jamming out, especially Mr. Bernard over here, when Miss Marie played that song, it was just a crazy coincidence. We have in studio today Dwayne Hood. And actually, when I spoke to Dwayne Hood via Bernard's phone, myself and Epic's president, this was one of the songs that we were jamming on. Or was it? It was Michigan. Well, it don't matter. Well, when we were out there being Epic, we were jamming to the song that Marie played for us at the beginning, which was, Bernard, what was it?
Bishop Bullwinkle, hell to the no.
Bring that mic closer to your mouth, baby.
Bishop Bullwinkle, hell to the no.
Yeah, hell to the no, yeah. So I do want to start off today by saying it's been an epic week If you can't tell, I'm exhausted. I swear to God, I will catch some rest very soon. But anyways, Isaiah Andrews, we've been screaming his name for like the last month now. Last week we had talked about Tim McGinty, the former prosecutor who is now seated as a visiting judge for Nancy McDonald, who recently passed away. Instead of him dismissing Isaiah's case against him, which he was wrongfully incarcerated for 46 years, OIP brought him home last year because they found evidence that was withheld the entire time of his incarceration. And in 2019, come find out there was a whole nother prime suspect that was arrested and released within 24 hours. Because quote unquote his alibi matched up. But then the time of death changed. So they never went back and doubled back on this guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Marie actually read some information about him last week. So we're not going to go into full details this week because we already did last week. But I wanted to talk about it real quick because if you don't know who I'm talking about, Google him. He's been trending all week. Shout out to Scott Knoll and Corey Schaefer for staying in that courtroom and reporting every day, even though Mike O'Malley, the prosecutor, tried to put a gag order on them. You can't gag us. But anyway, I wanted to start off and say that today, justice was finally served after 46 years of wrongful incarceration for Isaiah Andrews. Yes, yes, yes. I was so mad I couldn't be there today when they were celebrating in victory, because I swear to God, I would have hugged that man out of his wheelchair. I swear I would have. And I already told Charles Jackson, one of the other exonerees that he stays with, that I'm coming, I'm dropping by. I need my victory picture with him. But yes, we finally got justice in Isaiah Andrews' case, and he now has justice for his wife. Because let's be real, this wasn't just a victim they tried to pin on him. This was his wife. And another man killed his wife, and he served 46 years in prison for this crime that he did not commit. So thank God it's all over with. To the jurors, if you guys ever watch this, God bless y'all, for real. You guys did the right thing. I know there had to have been at least a few of y'all that was already in it to win it, already knew, could tell, read through those prosecutors, because that's what they do, they lie. Yeah, Bernard, you missed an interesting last couple of days of that trial, though. You know, the woman that was sitting with the prosecutors?
Yes.
She was an FBI agent who ended up testifying. Why did they let her sit in the courtroom the entire time of trial?
That wasn't fair.
Right.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
But it's okay, because when she got on the stand, Marcus tore her a new ass.
Oh, girl.
And, you know, she was sitting there all pretty like, yeah, my stuff don't stink. But when she was sitting there and Marcus was, seriously, when he was cross-examining her and stuff, biting her lip, nervous, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
And she totally bonded for the state. So thank you. We appreciate that. She tried to claim that she ruled Willie Watts not to be the suspect. That there's no doubt about it that Isaiah did this, because the newspaper that was dated August 26th, it was found near her body. It was like 10 sets of paper. I think you were there that day during trial.
Right.
They try to say because he was AWOL on August 27th, there's no way those papers could have traced to him. The day before, really? Anyways, the juror wasn't stupid. They didn't miss it. And they gave us great justice today. So I really wanted to shout out Isaiah Andrews, because y'all know I've been in the courtroom since last Monday. Last couple of days, I actually had orientation for another new job. It'll be a second paid job for me. So I wasn't able to be there for the deliberation part or them reading the verdict, but definitely stayed in great tune with everybody that was in the courtroom. To all my peoples that showed up, I mean, we showed up and supported him with a lot of love, a lot of love. So many blessings to Isaiah. He's 85 years old, so hopefully they come quick. But yeah, I want to talk about Dwayne Hood. We got him in studio today. This is one of Bernard's friends. He introduced us over the phone, and I finally got to meet him in person. I like your shirt. Wake, hustle, grind.
Wake, hustle, grind. That's another
Let me say something. I've been knowing this man since he was a child. The man was so kind that he used to bring my mother all the way down to Lucasville to see me. I don't even know he was old enough to drive then.
16 years old.
He was 16 years old. 8-hour drive from Cleveland to Southern Howard Correctional Facility. All right. I've been a long time family friend of him. Everybody, his mother Viola, She's been in recovery for what, 45, 47 years.
47 years.
Wow.
His sister, Tanya, I used to be sweet on her. She's been in recovery for 30 years, all right? But we have oftentimes been who we have not been reflected by our family. And Dwayne has been an example of that. But by the grace of God, all right, we did a bit together too,
Right.
all right? By the grace of God, all right, he's made a turnaround. He's a self-employed businessman who has a drilling company. Only black drilling company this side of
Y'all
Mississippi.
hear that? The only black.
This
The only
side of
black.
this side of Mississippi, you understand?
Right.
And he has no problem with educating
Right.
or employing released offenders, providing that they're directed and intent on being positive, productive members of the community.
We
you know?
appreciate you doing
And
that.
with
'cause
that,
there's not many
I'll give
companies
you-
that do that type of stuff. So definitely appreciate you that. We know how hard it is for them, not only to felons, not only to find a job, but to find housing as well. So,
property owner.
see.
All right.
Yeah.
You see how people think. But anyway, here's Dwayne.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Dwayne Hood. I represent Rebuild and Bigger. That's my company, LLC. And also my nonprofit is Bigger. Believing in God Gets Everyday Results. That's my
Amen.
nonprofit. And what we do is we try to reach out to kids up under the nonprofit. And the profit side of it, we try to teach guys how to do something they're not used to doing. Sometimes we get stuck on believing that if we don't know it, it's easier for us to walk away from it. Because the teaching part of it is people don't have patience. So I got into this game of understanding what underground drilling was through a friend of mine. And he taught it to me, and I picked it up in like a week. I'm not telling you that everybody can pick it up in a week, but I'm telling you that if you got dedication to make a better way for you and your family and not to return back into these bar sales or any of that, then I'll tell you to just come to this school that I'm trying to open up right now. Right now, I'm working with Dr. Rhonda Turpin, and what we're doing is getting a program together so we can submit to the county to open up a school.
Okay.
So on directional drilling. So what I'm trying to do is introduce something new that stars you out of the great pay instead of somebody telling you to go to McDonald's or somebody telling you to go to Wendy's. Because realistically speaking, right, if you go get one of these jobs after being incarcerated, right, you get a chance to see all your friends ride around in new cars and all of this jewelry, and the temptation is there.
Right.
So I believe that, prevention is really key to what we need. And it's not by just disassociating ourselves with them, because we still in the neighborhoods with them.
Right.
We're still in the communities with them.
Right.
We still go to church with. I mean, because the places is right don't mean the persons is right. So we have to come to an understanding that, in order for us to change, we have to change our thinking, and we have to change the format of our thinking. And the format of our thinking is that if you make $1,000 a week, that's $52,000 a year. You go to any other basic jobs and they trying to give you $27,000 a year. So you put a car note in there for $400 because you've been incarcerated. You take rent for $600, and you take whatever you want to put together, food, just new tennis shoes and anything, and you're in a deficit every year.
Right.
Just with a basic job. The halfway houses and all of the things, the programs to set out here to help us out, I'm going to say it does allow you to have help, but it's more to me as a crutch.
Right. I feel probation and parole, all that is still prison. So.
Right. So, with me understanding that, what I want a person to understand is that we've been guarded too long.
Way too long.
It's time to be accountable, So I believe in just really finding somebody that you can really click with, that you can have an accountability partner. And I mean that spiritually. I mean that physically. I mean working out. I mean that just when you having an issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? In life, because life gonna throw you some curveballs.
Sure does.
It's gonna throw you something. You got to be
does.
ready to either, they say ain't nothing to a hit but a miss. So understanding that you got to swing. Sometimes you gonna strike out. Sometimes you gonna hit a home run. Sometimes you might just make it on base. But if you don't try, you'll never make it.
Amen.
So what I'm trying to do is teach them in this program that I'm doing with drilling all about it. I don't want to teach them how to come in there and be a worker. You know what I'm saying? Some of us is meant to be workers because we
Right.
live in a box. And some of us think outside of the box and we was meant to be bosses.
Right.
And it's two different types of people. There's a type of people that want to live in a box and that's their comfort zone, right? I don't knock them because that's the toolbox that God gave them.
Right.
My toolbox, right, is not a toolbox. My toolbox is a room.
Mhm.
And I stand outside of the building looking at the room thinking, how can I make the room bigger?
Right.
And when I look at something, that's how I evaluate my life. You know,
You always have the bigger picture.
That's
From
right.
the outside looking in, for sure.
so I get an opportunity to just introduce it. It's called Rebuilding Bigger, and it's going to be a drilling school. I think the paperwork should be done in the next 30 days. And I think we should be ready to submit and see how long it take us to get funded.
Do you have an email
Yes,
people could contact you at?
absolutely. It's called Rebuilding Bigger, REBUILDINGBIGGER at gmail.com, or it's www.rebuildingbigger.com.
I'm dropping it in our comments on our platforms.
You know, I didn't get here on accident. I as I like to say, right, I earned my stripes. As you heard Sleepy say, Bernard say, you know, I did lots of things to help peoples in the community, and I did lots of things that I say destroy peoples in the community. Now, the census, I believe, in some of these circumstances and situations is extremely harsh.
Mhm.
So lots of these guys is coming home after 17, 20, 30 years, right, for selling drugs. And, you know, they looking at what they used to be and want what they used to have. And it's not that simple.
It don't come easy.
No. So what I want to do is a program that teaches a person how to get their business from the ground
Ground up.
to the sky.
Okay.
Because it's more than just saying I buy something. It's more than just, you know, it's a lot. This fight when it comes to business is really a fight. Everybody that say they're going to help you and everybody that say they got time for you, they show you this, that's not always true.
It's not always true.
So you really have to, you know, I thank God every day for Google. Google has become my best friend. You know, my buddy over there, he look at me like I got two heads because I talk to this phone like I'm talking to a human being. Google take me there. And that's what I try to do. I have to learn from it, you know.
Right.
But the most important part that if a person is truly tired, you know, we say this in the program that when you're sick and tired, you know, then you're going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sick and tired of being in these cages, getting these cold bologna sandwiches, these Cheerios and all of this stuff right now, you tired. If you want to make a change in your life, I'm here to help you. If you own some negative, keep it pushing.
I get it.
Keep it pushing. I don't need it.
What zodiac sign are you?
Leo.
Oh, dude, I can't believe that because me and Leo's
Say
don't click
something.
normally. I'm
No,
just saying.
let me say, you know, I have strange adages, strange examples. But Wayne said something that I've always said all my life. All right. Last week it was a thing about any word you want to put in there. Crazy folks do crazy things for crazy reasons. You never understand it unless you're crazy. You can put any word in there. The lame folks do lame reasons and so on. But he just said something. I always called myself when I was doing the things I was doing as being a hardball player. All right. If anybody, a baseball fan, you know, when a guy comes to bat, he got a hard hat on. Do you know why? Because sometimes he hit the ball, but on occasion the ball hits him. And when you're in them streets and you're doing the wrong things, you a hard ball player. There's gonna be occasions you're gonna hit that ball and you're gonna do well.
Just never
But
know.
occasionally, Wayne, when that ball hits you, you got to be to take it.
That's right.
All right, and they don't give you a walk either, do they?
No.
You get a ride.
You don't get a ride.
You get a ride down 71 or wherever the nearest institution is. All right, or they'll fly you there if you're in the feds.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the walk you get when the ball hits you. You know, so I just give that example for those of y'all that's out there and you're in life and you're in the game. You know what I'm saying? Understand what it is you're doing. You know, understand what happens because of what you do. You know, I mean, Wayne to tell you, I'm a living example of it. At some point in your life, hopefully, you'll realize that your efforts are futile. They don't lead nowhere. graveyard penitentiary.
Yeah.
And you make some changes. And I'm always stressed. If you just stop. Every morning I get up and listen to my little music, Bishop Bowling and other folks. All right. But if you take a minute to meditate, God will speak to you. And he'll tell you what's right, and he'll tell you what's wrong. And he'll tell you what not to do and what you shouldn't do. All right? You still have the determination to do whatever it is you want to do.
You know, right thing,
listen to yourself. You know.
Y'all speaking to me right now. I don't know if you see my post yesterday. I was on one.
Oh, I know.
I don't even want to talk about it just because it is what it is. You know, God will guide me. Obviously, I'm taking the wrong turn somewhere, but I'll figure it out.
Well,
yeah, no, you're right. So I appreciate you guys even saying that because it's real deep. You know, people don't realize, you know, what people, you know, the loopholes that you have to jump through coming on. I mean, just like you guys, like not having to be able to use phones or, where Bernard last week, he comes to go sit at trial with me. And he's like, I'm out in the waiting room. I instantly get up out of court. Now, mind you, it's in session. And I go right out to him because you have to now do a QR scan to check in before you can go to the courtroom on like a Google Doc. And I was like, oh my God, like I don't need him out there freaking out. Let me go out here and help him. And as soon as he already knew what, I was like, no, give me your phone. But like, that's what people, you know, things have changed so much. Not even just within 10 years, but, you know, not 20, 30, but 10, 5, you know, and so do people. And that's what people fail to realize. Like, imagine how quickly things change. People are obligated to do the same thing as well, as long as they're willing and ready to do so. And even when they're willing and ready to do so, they still need some type of push. They need resources, programs, and that somebody to be there for them. Regardless. Yes. So, you know, Bernard's been talking a good game up about you. So I'm very blessed that, you know, you're putting the school together because in the end, it's not just like, okay, we're going to be food truck people. You know, this is something that not everyone can do, like at all.
Right.
So it's very empowering to me.
The majority of people's, you know, they like to get in saturated markets. And the only reason why they get in saturated markets is because they're scared to step out. A lot of people want to go into home rehabilitation, or they want to go into hair or barbershops or beauty. Because you know, I say this again, when you start looking at your surroundings, you start fitting into what you're looking at. And if that's all you see, that's what you believe the success is in. So until you step out of yourself and really see the other side of it, you don't know. So if you've been in Cleveland all your life, you think Cleveland is a beautiful city. No harm, no foul. But realistically, once you step out of Cleveland,
we got a call.
And you go to Beechwood or something.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Kickin' It with the Kennys. Who are we speaking to, and what do you have to say?
This is Dexter.
What up, Dexter?
Hi, Dex.
How you doing?
My paperwork in order?
Okay. I'm a little late.
He's
I'm a little late, but I'm just kicking it with the Kennedy. That's all I'm trying to find out what's going on.
All right.
I'm trying to give y'all all the support I give you guys, because I love what's going on.
We appreciate you. Dexter's a young man that we meet up with usually on Thursdays. You know, there's things that come up sometimes, but do you have your volume up on your phone, Dexter? Because we are for feedback.
We got feedback, Dex. Turn it down.
I had one from 6 days ago.
Huh?
Hi. Yeah, Dexter's been working with Bernard and I, and his pastor. He has a lovely pastor. They have an amazing church. You want to shout out the church for us, Dexter?
Dexter, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm here with y'all. I'm trying to log y'all in on my tablet.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Give me a second and I'll drop a link for you and I can maybe pull you in through StreamYard.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I got a tablet. I got my computer.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Give me a minute.
Okay.
All right, Dexter.
They got it on at the Capitol, right at the front step.
What Dexter doing?
Well, you can hang up.
Sorry.
I can hear me talking.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, y'all. Where were we?
No, everything. We can be any. But one of my biggest things that I do to start my day off, right, is that I take me time. You know how you hear people say take some time for yourself?
Right.
Before I get up in the morning, I pick up a phone. Before I have a conversation, I have to get my spirit together. Before I allow anybody else to put anything in my spirit, I have to get my spirit straight. Because if my spirit start off wrong,
it's contagious.
It's contagious. And the bad part about it is a lot of people don't understand that you have to get self right first. I'm no good to you if I'm not right.
I hope my girl Jody's listening, because me and her, I just was, I'm good at preaching it, but I'm horrible at taking it back in for myself. But I'll learn one day. Thank God I'm the strong individual I am. But I was just telling her the same thing. Before we can even make anyone happy, satisfied, or anything like that, we ourselves have to be first. Period.
And it sounds selfish, but the only how you can be who you are is that you allow the things that's inside of you to come to full fruition. So first, your beliefs have to be solid. Your foundation have to be solid. And even if you think that your house is raggedy and your car is not going, that's not the foundation I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of a foundation where you can believe in something that's greater than yourself.
Right.
And with me, I'm a Christian, so I like to profess the love of Jesus all day, every day. So I'm not with me, but like I say, that's my toolbox. I don't know what works for nobody else inside their toolbox, because it's not my job. It's only my job to see the tools that you have in your toolbox, and I can understand what you're working with. You know what I mean? I can't judge because I got a micrometer. Different. That's right. Because I got a micrometer and an air gun, that don't mean that your pliers and your hammer is not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the tools that you've been brought up with. That's the tools you've been using. Them the tools I was brought up with. That's the tools I've been using. So when you evaluating a person on a job or in school, I think that's some of the things that is more important. Like if you go to these interviews now, they want to look at your Facebook page and they want to view certain things about you. And to me, that's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people that didn't have a voice, they utilize these platforms to speak, but it doesn't really represent that it's them. It's just they got something to say. They can hide behind something. So I understand that when some of these guys come out of prison or raised in these rough neighborhoods, this is their perception of how they think it should be.
Perception's everything.
That's right.
Yours, he knows I've been in orientation for a new job yesterday and today, and yesterday was a big speaking, from 9 till 6. But everything you're saying to me is just things that I just learned, not learned, but was just hearing yesterday. Perception's everything, perspective's everything. When we're dealing with people, we have to realize there's not one person the same. We all have differences. We all are diverse in our own ways, whether it be religion, color, skin, and we just have to be mindful of that.
And that's true.
Treat people with dignity and respect.
That's right. But if you got your self together and you understand this, it's easier for you to deal with people. You go to the gas station, you go to the grocery store, and it seems like you walking in, you get the nastiest person you can meet, right? And immediately, the majority of us want to react,
right?
Because every action we believe causes a
reaction.
Yeah. But the fact is that we never even take time to think of what that person
is going through.
That person could have lost their mom. The kid could have got pregnant. The dog could have been. Just so many things that could have happened.
Right.
But we are so self-intent just to believe that they picking on us or they got a nasty attitude. No, maybe that person
ask them what's wrong. Are you okay?
Right.
It doesn't hurt to ask people, are you okay? And it definitely doesn't cost anything to be kind. Period. Period.
Bernard taught me something when I was 16. He used to tell me, he said, if a pig can squeak, you better learn how to speak. Point blank, period. You better not never walk past nobody. And it's something he taught me when I was 14 years old. And it's stayed true to me today. So when I have a conversation with somebody, being kind don't cost nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Kill them with kindness.
That's
Even when
right.
being rude. It works. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Telling you. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming in and talking to us. Would love to have you back. We're in here every Wednesday. It's been a crazy busy last couple of weeks. What you're doing is fabulous. Even just, offering that trade that's just unheard of, honestly. So it's very inspiring to me. So if there's any way that myself or Epic can help out, most definitely. Bernard's actually trying to put together this
Accountability
program.
partners
Yeah.
thing for guys that's been incarcerated and when they're released. Well, actually, you know what?
Not even just men, though. We are going to open it up to females. So if you were formerly incarcerated in Ohio,
Mhm.
we want you to reach out to us because we're looking to place people with people when they're coming out, pairing them with someone that could be an accountability partner for them. Because, it always is a good thing to have extra help. So we definitely need to form this team on the outside before we can start accepting them coming out, right? So we're trying to build this foundation. Well, we are. And Bernard, go ahead and speak about it a little bit.
We're going to do it. Yeah.
Speak about it a little bit.
All right. I have a vision. I already spoke about Roadstar. All right. Roadstar is rehabilitated offenders striving to achieve responsibility together. One of the things, I'm not quiet about my history, my past, I'm using it as a benefit now. I've been to penitentiary 6 times on a life sentence.
Yeah.
Every time I went back, it was a new case. Why? Because I didn't fear being dumb. But one of the things is I didn't have anybody to direct or guide me on the right path. I knew plenty of criminals, but I didn't know people that was legitimate. All right. Nor did I know individuals who had been incarcerated and had been released that were trying to do the right thing. The thing that blessed me this time, like Wayne said, was God. God stepped in my life and said, hey, listen, you've been back 6 times. These folks do not have to let you go. You better get busy and you better get on my back. And I wanted to be out here because whether you've been incarcerated or not, there's a ceiling. The ceiling in any institution is regardless of how much money mama, sister, brother send you, you only buy so much.
That's it. That's all.
Right.
And you got to wear everything that everybody else got. And I looked around and I don't want to be like everybody else. All right. But Roadstar, I'm using the same principle that's used in AA and NA, in which individuals are given sponsors that assist them in recovery process and staying sober. Roadstar is going to assign people accountability partners, individuals that you can call, that social media, they'll come and take you to where you want to be because you need to know and to be set on the right path. All right. And I intend, I have the direction and the design.
I know you do.
To network with Wayne.
Oh, we're talking
Anyway,
about
because it's remarkable. I know them for 1,000 years. There's always been, put in street terms, they've always been about it.
About it. Well,
Okay.
action over cloud.
And they about it in the right, constructive, productive way. And I'm gonna stress this: they're voters. Okay, you have to vote. You have to have an interest in your community, and you have to be able to apply that interest collectively. All right, in order to effect a change. If you don't, it won't happen. But Roadstar is, like I said, it's simple. It says for itself. Rehabilitated offenders. Hey, Bernard, Wayne. All right. Striving to achieve responsibility together. We're going to help each other to be better. Another adage.
And I've already gotten experience, even though I was never formally incarcerated, but my brother from April, so I'm definitely on board with it all.
I'm extremely focused.
If he didn't have me, God only knows, he'd probably be back in. So
with the quickness.
Yes. So.
Because they ain't got a problem getting you back in there.
No, once you, we make choices, but the system is absolutely designed
to keep you.
It's not. I like to say this, and I say this truthfully. I really believe like the majority of our supervised release is babysitters.
That's what I call them, is babysitters.
And it's not to the fact that they gonna feed you, if they can, they gonna pat you on the back and stop you for crying. But at what point in your life do you say, man, I'm grown, I don't need a babysitter? You know what I'm saying? I don't need a babysitter. And when you understand that, then you able to make some changes in your life. What Bernard is talking about with the accountability partner is so important, because
crucial.
sometimes
You need the helping hand.
ain't nobody gonna understand what you're going through walking out of them gates, right? Because the pressures of life, soon as you walk out, they there.
They're there waiting on you.
You need a
sure.
car. You need a job. You need some money.
Right.
You know the girls ain't gonna look at you like you used to. You got a little bit gray now. Things change.
Right.
Things absolutely change. People change. And the last thing you want to do is be a leech. I hope you don't want to be a leech anyway. So you want to get out there and really try to make your way so you can have your own. Because the word of God said, God bless a child that has his own. So I believe that if you work for it, it's you gonna get it. You know, I mean, it's
might take some time, but you gonna get it.
Let me tell you something that disturbed me while I was in my last incarceration, that kind of tried to put me on the right path. All right. My mother was named Bernice Keith. She was an overindulgent single parent, school teacher, taught school. All right. That's why I've been different, towards education. But I'm in Pickaway. I'm trying to get a transfer back
closer to home
to Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, well, you want to go back to your parent institution? And I bristled. My parent's name was Bernice Keith. She was a single parent, overindulgent, and if I wanted, she got it for me. You're not my parent. Parent means that you're supposed to be the one that guides me, directs me, educates me, and nurtures me. You are not my parent.
Right.
All right? Now, I done went through almost 50 years of messing with y'all, and it just now dawned on me that these people are trying to say they raised me. And they did kind of in and out the institution, but they are not my parent. All right. And anybody's been incarcerated that's been, hey, that's my parent institution. I wonder what your mom and dad say about that.
Well, and that's just like DRC calling them residents. Like they're not paying you rent. Like we're paying the rent.
Yeah.
Residents?
Yeah.
Because we want to change the narrative. No.
They're
your slaves.
They want to fool you and get you to adopt and assign yourself a certain designation or identification that takes you away from who you are and what you're supposed to be.
Right.
If I tell you he's a turtle all the time, you're going to tell me, hey, what is you? I'm a turtle, but you're not. You're a human being and you're a man or you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? But like, everybody know me. I talk about my dog. I love my dog. Her name is Scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
But Scrappy does everything I tell her to do. Why? Because she's conditioned to. When she do the right thing, I give her a treat. When she do the wrong thing, I might even tap on her little nose. People, you and I, are more easily conditioned than my dog is. We respond to a given stimuli in a certain way without thinking, okay? So as a consequence, once you get introduced into the criminal justice system, into the correction system, you become conditioned to a certain degree to respond to certain stimuli in a certain manner. And that becomes a pattern in your life, even if it's the wrong pattern. And one of the things that, with the help of Epic, my boss, and Dwayne, all right, is I want to have an impact, not necessarily, people are slow to change when they're in a pattern, but I want to have an impact upon these preconceived ideas, notions, and directions as to what you're supposed to do once you've been in jail, all right? Because sometimes guys come out of jail, no, I did. Hey, I come out one time, and I believe, my dumb butt believe Mike makes right, because I had big muscles, big chest, and I worked on the premise, it wasn't about who could let me, who could stop me. Now, wasn't that crazy? Because listen, Caldwell County Prosecutor's Office stopped me again.
Well,
Or the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office stopped me again. You know what I'm saying? So you got to, come to a realization as to who you are, what is it that you really want in your life, what really matters, what's significant to you, and don't pretend. You are a man. Yeah. Go ahead, boss.
Y'all done kept it real with him. I don't know what else to say to him. Get your act right. No, I'm kidding, y'all. No, seriously though, because when people are coming out, whether they're male or female, they're definitely needing help. The resources that, DRC is providing for them, or even the counties are providing for them, it's just resources. They're doing like referrals. Here, call this person, call this person, call this person. I can't stand calling just the utility company or just one person, let alone 10. So it's frustrating. And we really need to start taking in consideration, like, what gets people to these avenues? and correcting them before we can even get them there. So this is a great opportunity because, you're coming out and we're offering you a helping hand. We don't have to call you every day. You can tell us, hey, look, you can call and check on me once a week. We'll make ourselves available for you. And if you need to reach out at any time, our lines are always open. You can't contact us, leave a message or text us, but we're definitely calling you back. But we definitely need to get this movement going as far as the accountability partners go. So definitely, if you are formerly incarcerated here in Ohio, please reach out to us because we would like to start building the outside force so that we can really offer some great support to those coming out, regardless how long they've been in, especially those that have been in long term. Because as they talked about, technology, and it's not even just technology, everything has changed. Commercials have changed, everything's changed. It's just a whole new world out here. And we really need to start being supportive because they're coming back out to our communities regardless. One way or another, they're coming out. So we definitely, as a force, need
about
to.
something that happened. It's a guy, it's a close friend of mine. All right, he did 36 years. All right, I calls him whenever I feel like. Maybe I call him twice a day, once a day, or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you what happened to him, and I'm gonna tell you one of the things that's we're faced with when guys do an extensive amount of time. He became romantically involved with a lady, all right, and he's an older gentleman, she's an older woman, all right, and they were going someplace. It happens that her daughter was in the back seat, all right, and they're driving, so I guess the daughter was feeling some kind of way, and she said, "Hey, listen, let me tell you what you got to do about my mama." He said, "Wait a minute, lady. I mean, what you talking about? Your mama grown, I'm grown, we grown folks, and you may be 30, 40, but you still a kid to us, And she read up on the seat. She was in the back seat. And he'd been down 36 years. And he said, "Wait a minute. Sit back. You doing something that you ought not to do."
Right.
But she was overly aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And he got out the car and this is what happens that I called him. What's happening? Man, this be oh, she feels whoa. From the road, Joe, take you a walk.
Right.
All right. This is a different world now. All right. The girl, I guess she's trying to dictate how she wants you to treat her mother or whatever. You understand? But I don't believe you'll go outside the line because it's not in your character. But it's kind of out of place or out of character for her to assert herself into what could be a relationship between her and her mama. But people that haven't been incarcerated don't know that aggressive acts for guys that been incarcerated, we respond a certain way.
And that's so important to understand because I really don't go too many places. And one of the reasons why I don't go too many places is because I have to be mindful of how people's react. Like I was at the car dealership today, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy, after telling me to pay for something, I paid for it. He tell me I come back today, it's $79 more. So with me, I'm like, no, explain to me what you told me I paid for it, or what am I paying for this for? He said, man, I don't feel like arguing about this no more. Now to me,
right,
the old me,
right.
And I'm gonna chase it from behind that desk because you're not gonna disrespect me like that. It's about one thing about being incarcerated, right? Despite however you look at it, right? These men's amongst men's, and what we demand is respect.
Right.
We don't ask for it, we demand it. We're not gonna let you use the B word against us in there. Now this new young generation, whatever they doing, they cool with that. But I was raised that when you was in there, you don't call a man out his name unless you're ready to fight or whatever it got to be. So for me to come out and witness what goes on today is real strange to me. And instead of me accepting it and be a part of it, right, I had to separate
keep
myself
my ass
from
away
it. Because I know in an argument, if they came and they ran my name and they ran your name, I'm going to jail. They're going to tell you, ain't nothing wrong. So now I don't get hassled because they taking me to jail and I didn't even do nothing.
Right.
And now I can't get a bond. I got to answer to all these people's about. So you got to understand that you have to even watch where you walk, who you talk to, because where they might send you over, it's a setup to get you out the way, because they know your consequences. Even messing with women when you coming out of jail, you know, you got to be cautious, because as long as she know she got power over you, that if you're doing something wrong, she'd rather see you back in jail than with another woman. Right. So you have to be selective about what you got. Is you going in there to build something, or is you going in there to feel something? If you're going in there to feel something, you're going to get what the consequences call for. But if you're going in there to build something, you know, pick who you building it with, so you can know that this is long term. It's some things that ain't going to feel good and ain't going to fit right. But you got to understand that once you put this effort in and you committed to it, it's the same way with staying home. You won't get past the looks. They might get a little chubby. They might get they lose some hair. They might do, you know, you might do the same thing in the same breath. You know what I'm saying? Your looks ain't guaranteed to you for the rest of your life. Right. So you have to look at life on life terms, and you have to accept what it is sometimes. But you have to be mindful of what you're dealing with on a regular basis.
Let me say one more thing. And the reason why I wanted Dwayne here is that I've been knowing him for 1,000 years. Curtis, I know him all. All right. Valerie, I know him all. All right. Me and Tanya used to talk every night when I first come home. And when I come home, 20? Yeah, okay, 20. We used to talk every night, you know, she'd tell me about what's going on, you know, how mom doing and stuff. But in all the years, even when y'all was down there at Club 57 and you had the other little spot, all right?
75.
So was it 75 or 57? 75. Almost, you know, I'm an old man, I forget things now. But anyway, I ain't never heard y'all fuss. Every other family I've ever come in contact with always fall out. Somebody, I don't mess with them no more. They did this, they didn't do that. I've never heard a hood, whether they agreed or disagreed, whatever action was being performed by one of the other hoods, ever be overly critical or rejective of the hood. All right? And one reason why I brought him here, because I'm a black guy. I mean, I love it. But anyway, in the black communities now, there's so much lack of family cohesion, all right? And dissension, you know, sons doing bad things to daddies, mamas doing bad things to sisters, you know. And that's one of the things that I think that may bring the community more together and more solidarity with the community. If they understand the significance, the importance, the unbreakable bond that's supposed to be with family.
Absolutely.
All right?
You know, I'm the youngest in my family.
I know you're young. Oh, you're the baby.
And the craziest part about it, to this date, I'm the biggest. And I ain't never in my life swole up a damn one of my brothers. I ain't never called damn one of my sisters the B word. And that's how that we was raised. That, listen, it's family. And my kids to this date don't even understand that. My own kids, from me being gone, don't understand family first. Right. Like they, you know, these young kids today now, my kids is 32 and down. I'm 30, so they really believe that they know more than dad. Mm-hmm. You know, we had conversations, me and my kids had conversations on a regular, and they really believe that they smarter than me, that all this stuff I'm talking about is dinosaur. You know, they playing PlayStation and I got Atari. This is how they really visualize me. And I'm saying to them, man, listen, I understand y'all got y'all things. You know, when somebody died, they want to text. Man, if you don't get over there, I'm gonna knock your head off. Right. See, that's my rule. Don't text. Don't text me. Pick up and call me. Okay. And part of the thing is that this generational gap is that a lot of people accept nothing. I'm not gonna accept nothing. I'm not gonna accept you text me. If you don't call me, I'm not responding. If somebody in my family died, and you send out a well wish or tell me I don't want to talk to you, because you let me know. If you know it's with me, family first, right? And family, you know, this is my bloodline family, but I'm like that about my friendship. I'm like that with you. I'm like anything that I call my family that I love, I got a long-term relationship. I got a bloodline with. You welcome to my house, you welcome me. But it's a difference from calling somebody your friend and calling somebody your family.
Okay. Amen.
Because a friend, right? A friend, in today's societies, and just my opinion, a friend is somebody that other people's look at to betray you. Right?
Okay.
I don't look at my family to betray me. So I name them my family. I don't name them my friends. Because if y'all look at my friend to betray me, then I don't want to look at him no more. I want to look at my family because I know I can trust my family.
Right.
And trusting your family don't mean that they're gonna agree with everything you say. Because they got their own toolbox, like you got your own toolbox, like you got your screwed up flaws, like I got my screwed up flaws. But it doesn't make me no less or no greater than you.
Okay.
It's just us coming to a happy spot so we can communicate. Because it's gonna be some, you know, I don't been in some situations, and you know it. Hey, I hate for the craziest thing in the world. I hate when people don't know how to answer a simple question. If you don't know what you want for yourself, how can I tell you?
Right.
If I come in, I say, well, you know, you want this job, how much you looking to get? Well, you know what the last guy got paid? $5, you hired. I don't understand it. Like, what do you want me to say for you? You know, part of being and growing is you have to be able to speak. And a lot of people, you know, in my era, one of the biggest fears in the world was, you know what it was when I was growing up? What? The speaking. Well, speaking was the biggest. If you go back to 84, all the way probably into 90 something, the biggest fear was speaking. Speaking in front of people, that was the biggest fear.
Sure.
I learned today, like, that speaking is like, I see why people don't have no communication skills, because everybody allows somebody to get away without speaking. You see a kid, you ask a kid they want something to eat. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about them. You know, they expecting McDonald's, right? I'm gonna go to the grocery store and get you one of them little, what you call them?
Lunchables.
Yeah,
Lunchables.
something that I
Ramen
know.
soup.
That's right, because you're gonna learn how to tell me what you want. Because I'm not finna figure it out for you. I got enough on my plate.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We do have we are gonna take a break in a few. I was hoping our next guest would be walking in studio. I mean, Dwayne, you're more than welcome to sit along with us too and chit chat. She's actually across the street at the Board of Elections campaigning for issue 24, y'all. So I know a lot of my people have had a lot of questions. I know Bernard had a lot of questions on it. Yes. So we're bringing the root inside to the revolutionary table to get whatever questions y'all have. We're getting the answers. Call in 216-939-5087. Don't call yet. Wait till Miss Bickerstaff. Yes, Bickerstaff is in studio because you know, this is an epic production. I can only speak on my own personal terms. So I'd rather her give you guys the full details because she's been a big part in this fight against issue 444, issue 24. And before she shows up, something that really pushed me even more so against Kevin Kelly, and we all can have our own personal opinions, but I just have to make this known because I am currently looking for some media coverage. We have, it's called Miller's Mobile Park Homes, and it's located right off Ridge Road, which is actually Kevin Kelly's ward. We have an 85-year-old man who is currently living in one of those senior citizen mobile homes. Actually, she just walked in, so we're going to take a break before we bring them in. But I just want to say, please stay tuned because not yet. Kevin Kelly can't even attend to senior citizens in his ward, let alone he thinks he's going to run the city of Cleveland. Please. And believe in me, we're going to expose the pictures on our Facebook page, and then you guys can check my personal page. There's literally a utility pole laying on top of this man's bedroom in his mobile home. So it's not even a structured house, okay? They've called the utility company. They haven't came out. They haven't done anything about it. And then when I did a little research after talking to the family, because I was out canvassing in the neighborhood for issue 24 for a search. And these people were all rushing me. Not only did this happen, but these people are senior citizens, mobile home, and they have no clue what's going on with management. Lady was fired 4 weeks ago. Nobody's seen anybody, and it's unacceptable. So we definitely want to put some noise out there about that. We are going to go to break. If Dwayne has more time to spend with us, he'll be back with us as well. But definitely come back because we're going to educate on issue 24 and the importance of putting real accountability in place. Things are just getting worse. Reform. Everyone's talking about reform. Reforming something's putting a Band-Aid on it and hoping it heals. We're done with that. We're tired of that. So we need actual accountability, and we need to ensure that the people, us, are empowered. So stay tuned. Short break. We'll be back in just a few. Sorry, guys. What am I doing here? Sorry.
Sam just had a oral years on a rape where he was allegedly accused of raping his son. So issue 24 touches on misconduct for police, because what people don't understand, the root of misconduct and wrongful convictions starts in the core of the investigation.
Right.
That's where it starts into the root of it.
Right.
Yes.
And it said that 54% of wrongful incarcerations are a result of police and prosecutor misconduct.
Together, they work
Right,
together.
they do. Most
They work
definitely.
together, hand in hand. I know this for a fact. County have a big number of wrongly
Wrongful
conviction
Yep,
people.
1 in 3 in Ohio.
Yeah. So
Sick.
what brought me to this is that the consent decree was born, as I indicated, May of 2015, because of the 137 shots and the murder of Tamir Rice, unfortunately. So the community of the Cleveland Police Commission was born from that.
Right.
So, however, they entered into a settlement agreement with the DOJ and the city. So, at the end of the day, the consent decree, along with the commission, is not permanent. It's
Right.
temporary.
It's temporary, and it's supposed to expire, right?
Well, we don't have an expiration date yet.
Okay.
However, they're supposed to be in compliance. They have another extension to 2023. But Judge Solomon Oliver, if the monitor tell him that the Cleveland police have came into compliance, he can terminate that consent decree at any time. And when he terminates the consent decree, there goes the commission as well.
Right.
So the families, we got together and said, okay, so when it leaves, the police is going to go back to their old behavior. How do I know that? Because when my brother got killed by the police, they were under a federal mandate.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Okay, in 2002. It was Jermaine Sanders, my brother Brenda Bickerstaff, Ricardo Mason, and Keith Moore.
Mm-hmm.
These was shootings that was back to back.
Right.
So here we are again, dealing with these same issues with the police. So we got together, we formulated a petition. So Bo Chandra is the attorney that took the information and applied it to the law. Well, we're having opposition, but this is one thing that's really bothering me. Everybody is saying they don't agree with it, but they're not being specific in details on why they don't agree with it.
Right.
And a young lady said this to me today. We was passing out literature at the Board of Elections.
Right.
She walked up to me. She said, "You know what? I would hope they would read it. There's nothing in there about defunding the police. This is about accountability, transparency, independent investigation, subpoena power.
Oversight.
That's what this is about. Oversight. That's the focus." I talked to an officer last night. Said, "Well, you know what? I heard all this stuff about issue 24. Someone gave me your number, and I want to ask you a question. Are they going to be able to fire the police and hire the police?" I said, "Absolutely not.
Right.
The focus is on accountability."
That's it.
And this is where everybody is missing this, is accountability. But the issue is, I think they're missing it because they want to miss it. Mm-hmm. They do not want accountability here in the Cleveland Police Department. And not only in Cleveland, over 200 cities have incorporated transparency and oversight in the cities. Some of the cities are Los Angeles, Philadelphia, New Orleans,
right?
Okay, that have this implemented.
Right.
So, but what people don't understand, there's another issue. They said, well, this is get rid of the mayor. You can only get rid of a mayor on a recall,
right?
Not a board to get rid of a mayor.
I did see that coming around.
Okay.
Our other guests is in
Oh,
studio.
yes, that's right.
Hi.
Alicia Kirkman. This is Angela
Hello,
Miller's mom.
Alicia. Nice to meet you. I've seen you briefly at ACLU last week, but y'all was busy ladies.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to be able to have you guys in this week because, everyone asks me questions all the time and I don't have all the right answers. So I wanted to make sure I gave people an opportunity that if you want to know, and our lines are open, 216-939-5087. If anybody wants to call in at any given time, please do. If you have questions, you just want to understand something a little more, by all means, please call in. These ladies are here to answer any questions you have.
Right. So the issue is, it's a 13-member panel. On that panel, this is another misconception. Well, the police won't be on the panel. Yes, they were. There's 4 slots: Hispanic, Black Shield, the FOP, and the Union. Mm-hmm. So you have 4 slots where they're going to be represented.
That's pretty diverse.
That's very diverse. Then you're going to have an academia, a philanthropist. You're going to have young people between 18 and 30. Mm-hmm. You're going to have someone on there to represent the homeless. Mm-hmm. Someone on there to represent someone with mental health. The main one that we wanted on there was someone that was exonerated, who's been formerly incarcerated for a crime they didn't commit.
I got you.
Okay, a person that's on there.
Maurice Glover or Ruel would be perfect.
Exactly.
I can make that happen. I know they're probably watching, so hey, Ruel, Maurice, hit me up.
Okay, so then you also have someone that was been a victim of gun violence,
Right.
whether it was police or they was killed in the street.
Right.
So this is a diverse panel because you're going to need diversity dealing with the issues with the police.
Correct.
All right. Another question was asked to me. Well, if I vote for this commission, what about the other commission with the consent decree? Well, with this under issue 24, if it's once it's implemented, it's passed, that would terminate the other commission. And then the law director has to take it over into the court in front of Judge Oliver, and he has to incorporate that in with the order.
Right.
So the issue is, this is something that we long time ago.
Correct.
You have 2 terms to be on there 4 years. You do get paid, but you're not on payroll. You get a stipend. We did not want them on a payroll because then guess what? They're going to do what the city wanted to do.
Sure.
But what is so funny about this, check this out. Here goes a big one. Taking away power from the mayor? I don't think so, because the mayor is the one that's going to pick them.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what power is gone. The mayor is going to be involved, so is council.
And so are the police.
The police is going to be involved too.
They're not fully, as a force, policing themselves.
Exactly.
And you know what? For anyone that just feels different about it, like my biggest thing is it's 2021.
Yeah.
Like
21st century
how much
policing.
longer? And then just recently, Vincent Belmonte was a really good friend of my aunt's son. They grew up together. He's been to numerous family reunions of ours and everything like that. Kind of tore my family apart, you know, as well. And even still, like, there's no justice for him. Period. They just
Desmond Franklin, Arthur Keith.
all of them. All of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a commission.
Right. This commission is here right now. However, it doesn't have a lot of power. It's not a lot of teeth in it. But remember, this commission is with the consent decree. They're here as a liaison between the public and the public and the police department.
Right.
Okay.
So they don't have a lot of teeth. This commission, we're going to give them teeth. Accountability, transparency, independent investigations, subpoena power. This is needed.
Absolutely.
It's needed. We don't have it right now. The commission is there. The commission that we have currently with the consent decree does not have that type of power.
I feel anybody that works for us should have accountability or some type of oversight.
Exactly.
I mean, look, I do a lot of prison work, and, you know, that's mine and Bernard's biggest thing is oversight of the parole board, oversight of the prisons. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We just need it.
But once again, the opponents that's against it keep saying it's badly written or I don't agree with it. But no one can tell me
Why don't
specifically what in the 16-page petition you don't agree with.
They just don't agree with policing themselves.
Or most of them are family of police, and they're
that's
just
what they don't
against
like.
it. And actually, I ran into that a lot canvassing is the fact that, oh, no, I have my whole family's police, and I can't never go against them. And
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, can you just stop for a minute and at least read it?
But guess what? There's police in my family too.
Right. Oh, right.
One of the things I raised up last week, and you know, Irish Mile, I was talking about how entrenched law enforcement and the judiciary and prosecutors' offices in Cleveland.
They work
I
together.
got 50 years experience. So I know how to think.
Irish gang, and
You
I'm
never
allowed
talked
to
about
say
that?
that because I'm
The Irish entire
so
mafia.
I can speak about my peoples, right? And it's not racism, so I'm not being
No, it's
racist.
just-
But it's time to stop. Like, it's time to stop voting these elected officials with these MC names and these O names and these. I mean, I'm serious. Like, we have to start voting young first and foremost, and we have to stop voting in family members. While sitting in the trial for Isaiah, when I was going down the elevator, I had noticed that they have an O'Malley over the juvenile justice.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like,
So that's
and we talked about this last week. O'Malley, the prosecutor of Cleveland, put 2 gag orders out last week on 2 wrongful conviction cases. Why? Because every day an injustice is coming out, whether it's someone getting shot by the police, whether it's wrongful conviction, whether it's over sentencing. Hello.
Oh, but wait a minute. Let me touch base on this.
Go
And I
ahead.
can speak on this.
Yeah.
The integrity unit. So now I said, okay, where's
Oh,
the
yeah,
integrity?
let's talk
When
about
is
that.
the integrity when the person is going through the process of fighting their case? Do they lose the integrity at that particular time and say, oh, we got integrity now after you've done 20 or 30 years of your life? Just like the gentleman that she's talking about named Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Okay, so where's the integrity when the case is going through the system when you're supposed to be able to have your constitutional rights and you're supposed to be dealt with as an impartial person to be able to get your rights going through the system? Where's the integrity at then? So at the integrity unit, they're a joke.
Well,
They're a real joke.
we have asked many a times, what exactly has the integrity unit done? Because it's been put in place for a while. We actually know of several people that have tried. My husband actually tried, and no response, no nothing. And this was years ago before he even tried with OIP. So it's like, where's the statistics at? Where? And it's crazy because with Isaiah's case, the state put an FBI agent on his case to basically rule out the other suspect. And she was sitting, I was telling Bernard, she was sitting at the prosecutor's table the entire time throughout trial. And then she was one of the last witnesses that was called up to the stand. But thank God for Marcus, because Marcus really did pulled every single tooth she had in her mouth out. And I swear to you, she was biting gums.
Mm-hmm.
He had her shaking. Like, and she was trying. It was crazy what they were trying. But it's crazy what they'll do for each other.
You have to understand,
That's
they work together.
Right.
The prosecutor and the police work together just like they do when they kill our loved ones.
Yep.
They work together.
They
They
family.
plan together. They're family.
They're family.
And they do not want to be challenged at all.
At all.
Okay. This petition with this issue 24, it's got teeth.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of the other ones across the country don't have teeth. This one's got teeth, where it's going to be able to do something for this city. It has teeth. They don't want it to have teeth. They want to water it down.
And we know that because city council has tried twice with the opposition. Go away.
Right. Well, only one council person is backing us, and that's Joe Jones.
Okay, John.
We had
shout out
Kevin
to Joe Jones.
Conwell, but he withdrew
Okay.
about 2 weeks before the election. He withdrew. Now he said he's staying neutral. Really?
How you gonna say neutral? Something that's
Because they're
affecting the community?
most of them are endorsing Kelly because it's like it's all clout and fame.
Exactly.
It's not about who's the better person, and there.
It's not about the residents.
No, it's
not about
not.
making
It's not
things
about
right.
Right.
Exactly.
Or fair.
Exactly.
Transparency, diversity, and fairness is all we're asking for, and that's it. So,
Exactly. And we have to take charge of it. That's why we went straight to the people. We tried to reach out to them. Some of them met. Some of them wouldn't even call us back.
I'm Facebook friends with a couple of them, so now that you told me, because I was wondering, especially Miss Dolores.
Well, I'm formerly incarcerated, and I represent a lot of formerly incarcerated.
And we're actually in the process of starting a voting block.
And we're in the process of creating a voting block, all right? Because one of the things that I hope to be on this panel is individuals that have been formerly incarcerated, that have returned to the community and being positive, productive, and our voters in the community, all right?
That's why we wanted
Because
to.
I don't want guys, because I've been there, to come out and have the F the police type attitude, all right? You understand? Because the police is supposed to be protecting
supposed to
our
protect us.
communities, all
Exactly.
right? I want you and you to be safe on your porch at night. I want you to go to the store without being accosted, robbed, or taken advantage of. I want to park my car without worrying about it getting broke in. I'm pro law enforcement to that extent, all right? I've had enough experience on the other side to know that they don't play fair.
Well, the thing is, there's
that if you're arrested and you got a record, you're already convicted. And that's not always the case, all right? That's not always the case. A lot of guys come out and they get arrested for something they did or didn't do or wasn't even intent on doing, and they throw the book at them.
Yeah.
All right? Because the police create a whole different scenario. When you get down at Justice Center, you done took a pack of gum, but they got indictments for everything.
Yep.
Pack of gum for the last
Anything
year.
and everything they can.
I didn't take them, but they wiggle you to do one thing. All right? Individuals make mistakes.
Exactly.
I do, okay?
Mhm.
But
We
they
all
deserve a
have.
second chance. and they should have a platform by which they are afforded a second chance. So I'm all for issue 44. A couple of guys.
24.
24. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Right. But anyway, I'm all for it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring some guys that are not registered voters that have been released, and I'm gonna have them register, and I'm gonna take them to vote. All right, because I want to see it pass. But one of the things I'm advocating wholeheartedly is somebody that has been formerly incarcerated and has been in the community for an extended period of time. He may be a business owner, run his own business. We've had a gentleman here, Dwayne Hood. He's been incarcerated. He's doing a piping business.
Well, they were talking about an exoneree, so someone that's been wrongfully
Well, but he don't know.
incarcerated.
I mean, exonerees probably had no contact with law enforcement beforehand and just got arrested.
Shit, Alfred
all right?
Cleveland.
You know,
Alfred
but
Cleveland.
guys that had been, I did it.
Right.
Okay.
But they got their life
You know?
together.
I mean, but we didn't change. They got a life together.
Right.
But
Give them
as a
chance.
consequence,
Yes.
we understand the machinerations of law enforcement. All right, because we was.
And don't be so quick to give them a felony, because once you give them a
Hello.
felony, it just ruins their life.
You know,
Entire life. No
Or
housing, no
send them
job,
down the
no
road.
nothing.
Or send them down the road. But more times than not, what I've learned from experience is that law enforcement won't do their job. All right, they'll look this way and say, oh, okay, he's black, he fit the prescription, he did it. Wrongful conviction. All right, you know, and they make the case fit the individual, and that should not be what has happened. You know,
Right.
and if you already got a record, jaywalking or whatever,
Mhm.
when you step in that courtroom, you're already guilty because this officer, yeah, he was arrested for this, he's arrested for that, arrested for this. He did it. And that's not always the case, you know. And that's what I want to be recognized, because it would cut down the recidivism rate, all right, and it would give individuals who have been returned to the community, give them a chance. You know, don't be such a hurry to send them all the way down to 71 no more. You got a CBCF over there, which is community-based correctional facility. You know, try to keep things in the community. You know, you can do in your home. You handle your problems in your home. And that's what I'm saying. But I'm all for it. I'm 1,000% for it, and I support you ladies 1,000%.
Yeah, I know Bernard's had a couple of questions, because he's like my public relation, my right hand man, my best friend lately.
Why do you want everybody to be on the board that's pro law enforcement? I know what the FOP is about. Your brother knows what FOP about. They do wrong 1,000 times. All right, they lay them off, and we're gonna look at this and everything. But FOP gonna pay them. They ain't gonna miss no meals. All right, they're gonna help them with the legal fees. They're gonna go by.
Oh, they're gonna have legal representation.
Guaranteed.
That's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
They have a legal representation
Guaranteed.
all
And
the way.
And it could be 1,000% wrong.
Oh yeah.
But
And that's
you know,
another
Even when
thing.
even when they beat their wife.
Right,
Yeah.
immunity.
Yeah,
It's
right.
immunity. People
Right.
are
Qualified
unaware of
immunity.
immunity.
or shoot their gun at the neighbor next door.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I mean,
Okay.
it's seriously time for accountability. Starting with the police, and then the prosecutors and the judges and the whole 9 yards, because what people aren't realizing is that obviously these women are fighting for justice, though, for their family members who were shot by the cops, right? And then our wrongfully convicted people are still fighting for justice to be compensated, and they'll never be compensated for what they've endured. But they're having to civically sue and fight for that. That shit should automatically be handed to them.
But you know what? I'm just gonna keep it real. They need to be in jail.
No, exactly.
The cops who do this, the detectives, the
Yep.
prosecutors,
Yep.
all involved. It's not all about money.
Well,
they
that's
don't
what
want
I
to make
was
this about
getting at.
money.
No.
They need to be
That's where I
incarcerated.
was getting at, is the immunity. So you got qualified immunity with the
Yeah.
police, and you got absolute immunity with the judges,
Mhm.
prosecutors, and the lawyers.
Mhm.
If we took immunity away altogether, because let's face it, no one's life is worth less than anyone else's. So their titles shouldn't be no better than us, right?
Mhm.
So when we start taking immunity away and we start holding people accountable for what they've done, them statistics are
They
going to drop.
Just like all these lawsuits, $47 million in lawsuits. That money could have been taken and put it in our community for jobs.
Okay.
Revitalize our community, our children, after school programs.
Yes.
Mental health treatment,
Yep.
drug addiction treatment.
Amen.
Oh,
Center's not
yeah.
prison.
You
That's
name
what
it.
we're all about.
Exactly.
We're
A
putting
thing that you
people.
ladies probably may not be aware of, and I had an encounter one time. I missed one when they put me in the little police cell, the little county that come and arrest me in. Oh man, that was love. I mean, he had his own phone, his own TV, because they kept bringing me in and out the county jail. I was in a subsequent crime. And I said, listen, I'm not taking this TV shot no more. We ain't doing that. We could resolve this case, but I'm not. Every time I've been here 5 times, don't bring me back and forth from the penitentiary. You want to give me this TV shot? Wait till I get it. They said, well, if you don't take it, Mr. Keith, I know you're gonna litigate it. Say, we got to put you in the cell that we use for the officers and the public officials. I said, okay, I'll be there. He said, will you be by yourself? I said, no problem. Man, I went in there, it was like a motel room. I mean, it was a big, thick bed, had my own shower, had my own TV, you know. And I've seen officers come to the institution before, all right?
Almost definitely.
And listen, they might as well not be in jail.
Well, you know, the
They get their
prison
way.
or the jail director, he's not in Cuyahoga County. They moved him to Portage County.
I bet she's in the VIP cell too.
Probably is.
All right,
but,
you got
I
a
mean,
TV, his own private phone. Get business
crazy.
whenever you want to.
After
All
over
right,
13 people died
Come
in the
on
county.
You know,
right.
and these little
Yeah,
things
he deserves
is
a life
what
sentence.
inhibit them from not doing the right things. 'Cause
Mhm.
even if I'm caught wrong, even if you catch me all the way wrong, I'm gonna get love. All right, I'm gonna get to see my family every day. I'm gonna call when I want to call. I'm gonna eat better food. I got my own TV. You know what I'm saying? And it should be held to the same standard as any other criminal.
That's why
Okay, because they committed a crime.
That's why they continue to do what they're doing. That's why they continue to kill,
They don't
because
feel
they're
it.
not being.
Because
no-
they know that
yeah.
there's a structure or a system in place that's going, no matter what, it's going to protect them.
Yes,
Immunity.
yes.
Well, we're done. We ain't gonna be silenced no more, y'all.
All right.
We are
Mhm.
definitely
Profession.
gonna just put, like we were
And I know
talking
that.
last week, you know, we all have our different agendas, our different causes for our organizations, but eventually we're all gonna come together and in solidarity to where they ain't gonna be able to shut us down. So we got like 10, 15 more minutes. If anybody wants to call
We
in
need
with
to
any
vote.
last minute questions for issue 24, please do 216-939-5087. Yes, November 2nd. Please vote.
Vote.
And
Vote.
actually, I was actually gonna do it today, but I'm gonna take my son tomorrow. It's his first time voting.
Turn the
so-
ballot over.
Yes. for
It's-
sure.
That's right. It's on the back.
Back.
Oh,
It's
no,
on
it's
the-
not.
Yes,
Yes, it
it
is.
Stop
is.
telling me a story.
It's on the back.
They couldn't hide it no better.
They turn,
I'm not-
yeah,
I'm
turn
not
it
going
over.
on.
Make sure
I'm kinda
you're
slow.
turning your ballot
You know,
over, please,
I'm kinda
and
slow.
voting
Yes.
They couldn't hide it no better.
on issue 24.
Yeah,
Let's put it on the
they're on the
back.
back.
Ain't that terrible?
Mm-hmm.
Is it terrible?
It's on the back.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important things on there.
They put it on the back.
Come on. Oh,
They put it
Lord.
on the back so you won't turn it
Oh,
over.
See
yeah.
it,
You
right.
won't see it.
Especially if you're in a hurry and everything.
Right.
You just-
Yeah.
There you go.
Come on. Come on.
Put it on the
Oh,
back.
Lord.
But we've
Yeah.
been making sure that we notify the public that
I don't
it's on
believe
the
it.
back.
Well, before
Well,
these
I'm
ladies
turning
showed up,
mine
they
over.
were actually
You
at
too,
the board of
bro.
election.
Matter of fact, that's the first one I'm gonna do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all right. I got my son coming down. He's got a couple of friends that just turned 18, so for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and he's definitely like always sharing my stuff, you know, everything that I do, and very supportive over what I actually I picked up that second job, and last night he was concerned. He was like, "Mom, are you still going to be able to do the organization work?" I'm like, "I'm just going to have to find time," you know.
Mhm.
But it's just, you know, it's good to see them young and involved. You know what I'm saying? And not even just involved, but curious.
They're
And-
tired. They're
They need to
tired.
be.
They're
Yeah.
tired.
Like Tamir was 12 when he was killed. by
Lord,
the
gee,
police.
I know about
So
that.
this was his year to graduate.
Mm.
He would
Yeah,
have
him
came
and my
out
son
of,
were
he would have
about the
came
same
out of
age,
school
yep.
this year. So a lot of the students that were, 12 years
Right.
old when he got killed are now old enough to vote.
Yeah, my son was born in
okay.
2001, so.
No.
Mhm.
What all he might have been.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Okay? That's what we're missing. What all he might have been.
I wasn't even given a chance.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Even Angelo. He
Yeah.
didn't even.
No, he was
He
17.
17 when he was murdered. He didn't even.
Child.
And then they're charging
Yeah.
our juveniles as adults, automatically buying them over for
But like with
cars.
Angelo, what they did, him being 17, they paid me worth what they felt his life was worth. They had a administrator up there breaking it down. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, that's how dirty and
That's the system.
that's how
That's the
dirty
system
they
we're talking
are.
about. It's already entrenched. All right.
Yes.
If we mess up and we do this here, we're gonna shortchange everybody. We're gonna shortchange the family, and that they're gonna be without a loved one. All right. And whatever legacy that could have been had won't be had, and we're gonna say, here,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be all right.
It's just so funny now because
All right.
Craig's daughter's got kids. It's like he's a grandfather now.
Mm.
But he wasn't here to see
Yeah.
it because they were little
Right.
when they was like 5 and 6.
Right.
Wow.
You know, so they were
Grow
little.
up without their dad.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
you know, some of the kids, like Angelo, have 2 boys, and one of them are doing fine, but one of them is struggling. you know,
He has a
and
lot of questions.
that's the one has a lot of
He got a lot of
questions.
questions.
And now he's going through, you know, and you never know how it will affect him, even though they were one.
Mm-hmm.
See, but when they open up a book or Google something, their father pop up. That their mother didn't really tell them about their father. So when they got a certain age, you know, and then they see their grandmother out there fighting for justice, like, hold on, what's going on?
Mhm.
So, okay, so the police killed my father. Now you got an angry kid.
Yes.
But he was old enough, even at 1 year old,
Yeah.
to know that something was missing in his life.
Yeah.
That was his father.
His father.
You know, so don't think that because he was so young, he did not miss that or
Yeah.
didn't feel that loss.
Mhm.
He had that opportunity to bond with his father for the whole first year of his life.
Yeah.
And that's the most,
Those are crucial.
those are crucial
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
And Angelo
in
loved
They're giving me
his
So-
boys.
just listening to you
Yeah,
guys talk,
just think
for real.
about that. So it's,
Yeah.
I know. I talked
definitely
to
impacts.
Angelo's boys, the one that has a lot of questions, and he was, you know, telling me a lot of stuff and asking a lot of stuff. Well, how they do this and how they do that? And why did this go? You know, he has a lot of questions.
He's angry now.
Yeah, he is.
Now we see the flip side of it.
Right. And you know, my son, I have 3 children. My oldest he'll be 19 on Halloween. Now he's not my husband's son, obviously. My son was incarcerated, or my husband was incarcerated when he was 17. His son's 21 now. He had a baby when he was a baby. So obviously my kids aren't his, but like, I'm just thankful that my kids, and not that loving somebody incarcerated for life is a hobby or a thing to do, by all means, but I'm just glad that they've
But
had
it's
that
not wrong.
experience.
They need love too.
Because now they can see things from a different perspective, you know, because I've sheltered my kids, like my 18-year-old son, I was still dropping off to and from school. Why? Because it's crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? And then you let him out your sight and now he's 19 and he's like, every day and you know, he is white, but even still, like, I know his mouth. So I know that that's sometimes all it could take for him. You know, he gets pulled over, he smarts off to the cop, like, my mom will be, you know, that's all it's going to take. And it still scares me. You know, he's only been 18 for a year now, but every day that he is out working, because he's a good kid, I still worry. It worries me for him to be in the car with other people. It worries me to allow him to take that RTA because we just never know. We just never
that's
know.
just the maternal instincts of being a mother.
True.
We all worry about our children, you know, and that's just that motherly instinct that we have. And you know, I too, I have my son is 23. I have 3 grandsons, and you know, we have this conversation all the time. This so-called talk that we have with our kids, and I let them know, you know, like, any instance or any interaction with the police officer, you know, depending on that officer's disposition that day and how he's feeling,
How you feeling?
you know what I'm saying?
What kind of
You
attitude
never
he
know
got.
what type of attitude he has.
Right.
Exactly.
Who you
So-
like and don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody
Cut him off
the
and
go.
go.
You know what I'm
Look
saying?
Yeah.
So,
like you.
Or wonder, or if he was under the influence, the cop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amen.
Was
Because
he under the
they're
influence?
crooks too,
Right,
y'all. They're
exactly.
crooks too.
well,
Let's not
we
get
just
twisted.
saw 4 Cleveland police officers get fired. Well, their arbitration was upheld because they were drinking on the job and falsifying documentations. So when we hear about all this progress, the so-called progress that has been happening under the consent decree, I mean, it's stagnant. Because we know that after 6 years of being under the consent decree, you should be far more compliant than 37%.
I agree.
They don't care.
Falsifying reports cause wrongful convictions.
Amen. I got 150 of them in my husband's files. And then just recently, the cop that arrested someone took him to jail and then took drinks back to the lady's house to kick it with her. Did y'all hear about that? That was just very recent too. So that's the thing. Like, yes, they're the police, but that's their job title. At the end of the day, they're a human being just like me, just like them, just like Bernard, just like all of us sitting in this room. They're human beings at the end of the day, and they should be held the same. Not above us, because they're not above us. But unfortunately, because immunity is put into play, they're protected. We deserve to be protected. Our children deserve to be protected. The citizens should be protected.
Mm-hmm.
And we as taxpayers have to start getting angry, period.
I think people oftentimes forget that police officers weren't born into their profession. They chose that profession.
Correct.
They took an oath of office to uphold the law and the Constitution. So when we hear these slogans of Blue Lives Matter and all these mantras and things like that, you know, it really takes away from the actual demand of accountability for these officers when they violate policies, when they violate procedures, when they do police misconduct. You know, and we just want them held to a higher standard. They're not above the law, and the police can't police themselves.
It's obvious.
It's obvious.
Well, you know, so that's my thing. I mean, seriously, all right? I mean, I've had extensive dealings with law enforcement, all right? And I've seen them over the years. Matter of fact, one of my advisors is a gentleman that's been a 30-year retired police officer, you know, and I asked him to come here today. He said, well, man, I'm going to listen to it on the flag. He said, man, but I don't want, he said, I know how he is down there. You know what I'm saying? He was 30 years, he retired, nothing bad on his record or anything else. I think at some point it needs to be a review of the personnel file. Because see, sometimes when a person gets on the job for so long, all y'all have been
They get comfortable.
they get comfortable, all right, and they're ill suited for that position, all right, because then their focus is not on doing the things we need to do and what you swore you would do. Your things is, let me get this shift over, let me get home, and whatever. Oh, he gave me the finger last week when I went around the corner or whatever, you know, and it becomes something other than what it's supposed to be. Your job is supposed to be impersonal, not personal.
Right.
You know?
Well, see, go ahead.
There's this conformist attitude that runs rampant within law enforcement.
They're arrogant, aggressive.
But it's like once you become a part of that blue wall of silence or that blue wall, you are no longer an individual. You automatically have to stand by them. And we've seen that with Timothy Loman and Frank Grimbeck. Frank Grimbeck was a field training officer, meaning he had a higher rank than Timothy Loman. So he had a responsibility and a duty to teach and guide this rookie in the patterns of policies that he's supposed to implement. And we saw those failures in the case of Tamir. So when we talk about accountability, we're not just talking about, you know,
just
the rookies just coming
all
into
the way around.
No, we're talking about all the way up to the top level. There has to be some form of accountability.
But don't forget now, there's some police officers out there. There's 4 issue 20.
Oh yeah, I have a.
But they cannot come out and say it
publicly
because they're going to be
frowned upon.
They're gonna be frowned upon. They're gonna be retaliated against.
Yep.
And there's a lot of them out there that's for it though, but they just can't come out and say it. And Latanya knows there's something that we dealt with that they have come after big time.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know, because they separated themselves from that blue wall. They stepped through it, and it's like you're not supposed to step through that at all, period.
Right.
And the issue is like this petition, this charter amendment is very needed. And this is giving the people the voice that they never let us have. That's even through city council.
The power of the opportunity.
And then it's been going on over 100 years.
Yes.
Since 1922.
Okay.
1922, y'all. Did you hear that? Been going on since 1922. Enough is enough. No longer, no more.
And I remember in 2007 when Angelo got killed, I knew a cop personally. And he explained the whole procedure, everything that was going to go on with me.
Okay.
How much money I was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. He knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's
What's
just.
going to happen?
Yeah.
What he's going to say? What's the next step?
Yeah.
He told me everything.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be that way, is it?
But it's
gang, y'all. Gang.
At this point, we know now it's scripted. You know,
Right.
this is the
Because of
same.
the infringement of those that are in authority and those in law enforcement, those in the prosecutor thing, and it should be no infringement like
But
that.
you know what
It's
makes
supposed to be
it?
some degree of fairness, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
but
they never thought in a million years.
Mhm.
They never thought out of these 100 years that these families was going to connect.
Yep, and that's how I feel about
Thank
wrongful
you.
incarcerations. Like they really
They
thought this shit was
never
never gonna come out
Thank
the
you.
woodwork.
That we
Now
were
it's left and
gonna-
right.
But you know what makes it? But you know what makes me sick? O'Malley tends to believe there's not an issue, or he don't want to address the issue. And what makes me real sick is that when a person is going through the system, okay, and a lot of these judges knows these officers are wrong, they won't say anything or do anything when it's going through the system, when the trial is going through and the pre-trials, they won't step up and say nothing. You know why? Because of the connection. When they're running for office, the FOP and the unions give them money.
They get money, right?
It's going on all over the state.
Yeah.
Like everybody got
Yep.
the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see a lot of grassroots organizations calling for the removal of dark money, you know, and things like that out of campaigns and you know, politics, period.
Undocumented favors.
Because
Should somebody slide us some dark money real quick?
Even in, you know, in 2016, when Trump ran for office, our police union endorsed him. That's the first time they ever took that type of step to endorse a candidate that's running for president.
Yeah.
So it definitely, you know, it takes community involvement. We definitely have to have community involvement.
You know what his thing was.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, Latanya, remember, another thing that's out there, misrepresentation of our PAC, is that it's an out-of-town source that's behind.
Right, exactly.
This is started from the families. Are you for real?
3 of us.
This started from the families. Didn't come from no out-of-town source.
Yeah.
This started with us. This is us.
And it's our
But
community.
they ain't no problem
so
lying. You knew that. For me, there's no problem lying.
See, that's what they're saying. Yeah,
They're
out-of-town
trying to make
source.
up. I've seen all
The
kinds of
commercials,
different
out-of-town
scenarios.
source, trying to defund. No, we're not trying to defund. What about the mayor calling us tragedy pimps? And
He
Samaria,
is tragedy. Oh yeah,
He called us
that's
tragedy
right. Yes,
pimps.
he did. He called the
Tragedy
tragedy
pimps. We did a press conference. Samaria said the only tragedy that I know is those cops that's untrained.
And Mayor Jackson for the last 14 years has been the tragedy pimp of Cleveland. Let's not get it twisted. But yeah, we are running out of time. We actually went a couple minutes over, but ladies, I'm very thankful for you guys coming in studio with us. This ain't the end of this revolutionary though. I'm letting you guys know. I'm ready to show up and show out. I usually do all on my own if I got to, right, Bernard? Shoot, I travel. I travel for justice. But no, seriously, people, please read the petition, Google it, read it for yourselves. Digest it for yourselves. Do not depend on anyone else to put the thought in your head whether or not you should vote yes or no. The decision's up to you and only you. Just do it, please.
Citizensforsafercleveland.org. That's where you go and you pull that petition up and read it. When you go vote, flip it over. It's on the back.
They put the issue on the back of the ballot, so make sure that when you go vote, you read it in entirety, front and back, please.
Vote yes for issue 24.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming in. We definitely appreciate you. Citizens for a Safer Cleveland, y'all. Now's the time. Now's the time.
Transformative.
Let's go. All right, y'all. Have a good night till next Wednesday, 4 to 6. No Static Radio. Thank you, Marie.